Hi everybody, I'm Pui Ling from Cambridge English for Life. During this difficult MCO period, no matter where you are, I hope you and your family are all safe and well. Today, I'm going to share with you some of the vocabulary that you will need to understand and be able to use it in your conversations with your family and friends when you talk about coronavirus. Okay, let's get started. First of all, let's look into social distancing. This is something that you may have heard many times. It refers to a focused effort to reduce close contact between people so that they don't share germs. The main purpose of social distancing is to slow down the spread of the coronavirus. This is why the schools are closed. Large public events such as meetings, conferences, concerts, weddings, parades are being called off. International sport events have been postponed, and many businesses are required to mandate working from home. So, how are you or your parents coping with working from home? Public distancing means that you will probably choose to stay at home more often and try to avoid public spaces or large crowd when you are out of the house. For example, when you do go out and you see your neighbor, you shouldn't touch them or even have close contact. Instead, you keep your distance, and that means a big change of behavior for many people. Okay, depending on where you live, sometimes we may shake their hands or we may hug them or you kiss them on the cheeks. But right now, it is better to keep that distance to slow down the spread of virus. Okay, here are some of the alternatives to handshakes, hugs, high five, and hongi. If you wonder what hongi is, it is the traditional Maori greetings in which people press their noses together. As we all have to keep the social distance, studying from home or working from home, we will have a little bit more time to spend at home to try something that we have never tried before or something that we will hardly do at home. On social media, it is no surprise to see a lot of people posting their new recipes on home-cooked meals, desserts, and drinks such as this: dalgona coffee, dalgona Milo, and dalgona tea. Have you tried any? Moving on, let's take a look at incubation period. What is incubation period? I hear you ask. I will tell you the exact definition. Incubation refers to the period of time between harmful bacteria or viruses entering a person or animal's body and the effects of the disease appearing. That is the time for the symptoms to show up after you come in contact with somebody who has the virus. Do you know how long the incubation period is for the coronavirus? Is it 1 day, 10 days, or 14 days? Well, it could be any of those. According to the World Health Organization, the incubation period is 1 to 14 days, and it is most commonly 5 days. Next, let's talk about flattening the curve. Have you seen this funny meme? He says, they lied. It's gonna take more than 14 days to flatten the curve. This is funny, but this is not what the term really means. Let's look at what it does mean. The idea of flattening the curve relates to the way governments and citizens can take measures to prevent a huge spike in confirmed corona cases so that the healthcare system will not be overwhelmed. If there is a large number of people become infected and require medical care, it can overwhelm our medical care system. Our doctors and nurses could run out of protective equipment or hospital beds, or we may not even have enough doctors and nurses to care for all the patients. The first curve showed a lot of people getting sick because the disease spreads so quickly. The second curve is much flatter and shows a pandemic scenario where there has been intervention. There will still be cases, but the healthcare system will have the beds, supplies, and workers needed to help the infected people. Okay, coming up we have patient zero. I hear you ask again. Does it mean no patient? That is exactly what I thought before I did my research. No, it is not. Patient zero, which is also known as index case, is a term used to describe the first human infected in an epidemic within a certain population. Knowing who the patient zero is could help to prevent the disease from spreading. Well, figuring out who the patient zero is wouldn't give us all the answers, but it will help to map the path the virus has been taken and how is it traveling. For example, we know who the patient zero is in the big cluster in South Korea, and that is helping to trace all the contacts and understand what happened. So, do you know who the patient zero is in Malaysia? Do some research and find out. Okay, last but not least, asymptomatic. Asymptomatic has the word symptom right in the middle of it. So, does it mean that somebody has the symptoms or does not have the symptoms? Well, it means that somebody does not have symptoms. Were you correct? The letter A is a prefix that means not or without. Asymptomatic is an adjective, and this describes somebody who has the virus but doesn't show any symptoms of the virus. With the coronavirus, most people have cough, fever, and shortness of breath. But somebody who is asymptomatic doesn't show any of the symptoms, so they look perfectly normal. Alright, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching this Coronavirus Glossary Part 1. I hope you like it and really learned something today. Do come back tomorrow to learn even more words to add to your glossary. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you.